Hello everyone! Pineapple here, and I'm sure you've heard of it, but today we are taking a look at the newest show on the Glitch Productions channel, The Amazing Digital Circus. Glitch Productions and the progenitor channel SMG4 were very pertinent in my childhood entertainment and are still going strong now. They are also responsible for my terrible sense of humour. I still keep up with SMG4 every now and then, but the impressive shows on Glitch Productions is where this Australian company really shines. Unlike Metarunner and Sunset Paradise, which have characters that originate from the SMG4 series, or were made by the same creators, The Amazing Digital Circus was funded by Glitch, but created by animator and composer Gooseworks. And the one-episode pilot is all that has been released so far, but it seems like this cute clown and angel dust-voiced rabbit have taken the internet by storm. So I thought, why don't we take a look at this new show? And judging by how good Metarunner was, I'm hoping to see good things. Without further ado, let's get stuck into the first episode of The Amazing Digital Circus. We open on a digital vista, in an effect reminiscent of old video games that I really appreciate the style of, but get a smooth transition into the show's own animation style as we are introduced by Kane, played by Alex Rochon, and much like the other character designs in the show, is very creative. Also just, ew. With what seems to be his partner, Bubble, played by series creator Gooseworks. We are introduced to the rest of the circus, bar a missing Korfmo the Clown, in a musical number that has a nice beat, but the lyrics certainly could be clearer. And even without knowing the context, although I have been told that this is supposed to be some sort of horror show with a childlike coat of paint, as the internet enjoys those so much, the underlying threatening tone of the music is clear as bits jarringly repeat and the subtext is sung. Within the madness, a little clown girl appears that I'm sure there is so much fan art that I want to avoid, and is seemingly trapped there, as the exit melts away. But her arrival cuts the music short. In horrifying realization, the circus seems to be a digital VR world that has the entries trapped, and they must go through 100 floors of an MMO to... no wait, that's a different show. But I mean, it might as well be close enough. We are Sword Art Onlining this bitch. The others try to calm the clown girl down, and after a funny swear joke, Kane steps in to exposit. With that terrifying realization, the other characters get some spotlight, so why don't we talk about them for a second? Of course, we have the clown or jester, Pomni, played by Lizzie Freeman, who we've seen on the channel once before in Kakegurui XX. But the way the dub for that season was handled was whack, so there's only a 50-50 chance we actually heard her. Ragatha, I think you can figure it out by her name, the Ragdoll, played by Amanda Hufford. Jax the Rabbit, played by Michael Kovac, a regular in the recent years of indie YouTube animations. Gangle the Mask and Ribbon, I suppose, played by Marissa Lenti, who was in Gamers, so now I don't want to be here. Kinger, played by Sean Chiplock, my least favourite character from Breath of the Wild. And lastly is whatever the fuck this is, played by Ashley Nichols, in what seems like her first acting credit, usually sticking to the animating crew for projects. And it's always nice to see someone branch out from their usual part in production. Let's see if it pays off. Kane decides to give Pomni and us a tour of the fairgrounds and the void, but we are carted away before the moon apparently tries to bang Kane. Okay.
I love you.
Let's get out of here before the moon gets frisky.
We get more prodding into thinking Kane is a little unhinged, and are once again skipped past an exit door. After a really disturbing scene of whatever the bubble is doing, Kane refuses the existence of an exit again, and we see how Pomni gets her name, not remembering her name from before, and her name is selected in a funny fashion, by lottery. And it's good we got Pomni, as if I had to keep calling her XDDCC, I'd scrap this review. With his usual fun yet erratic personality, Kane forces the cast into an in-house adventure, called Gather the Gloinks, which sounds like a very bad STD. The Gloinks are these weird little shapes, and Kane sets them on their mission before fucking off. And after some recommendation from the others, Pomni decides to check on the missing Korfmo, who had mentioned the same exit we've seen, and they do this instead of trying to save Zubul, who was literally just disassembled and kidnapped in front of them, only Gangle seeming to care. Gangle and Kinga are left to deal with the Gloinks, and the other three set off for Korfmo. We see the inhabitants' rooms, Pomni's with a fitting plaque, and a worrying amount of crossed out doors. Ragatha gets a good monologue about why they go along with Cain, really getting across the horror of the situation well, and they arrive at Korfmo's door, once again letting Pomni get a great reaction, something that the animators and character artists do well with their characters. They can't get in, and Jax reveals he has keys to everyone's rooms. That's nice.
I used to say, fuck off. Now I say, that's nice.
And they get inside only to find whatever the fuck this is. And Jax does the same thing, zooming out of there. Even with such a short clip of it, the juxtaposition, wow, fancy word, the juxtaposition of the cutesy carnival aesthetic and the horror we find ourselves in is really effective. The same way it is with Cain's character, as his mania can become quite intimidating on a subtle level. We see that Korfmo has been transformed into this monster, something Ragatha describes as abstracted. What happens when you reach your breaking point in this world? Korfmo absolutely wrecks Ragatha's shit and sends Pomni fleeing in a surprisingly intensive chase. Korfmo getting distracted by what I assume is one of the Gloinks. Pomni goes back for Ragatha and we return to Kinga and Gangle, looking at a hole with ominous screams coming from it. These two are probably some of the strangest protagonists in the show, and I like their awkward dynamic. Jax appears and fails to tell them of Korfmo, then throwing them down the hole. I'm starting to think Jax isn't a very nice person. They arrive at the bottom through a very creative bowling joke, and come face to face with this monstrosity. But we go back to Pomni via a hilarious cutaway from Kinga.
I think it's a nest. Hello?
Pomni finds the injured Ragatha, who is now glitching, and she sends Pomni on her way to Cain for help. The glitching effect is clever, but it does get pretty annoying after a while, even if the small moment between the two is nice. Pomni opens many doors, unable to find Cain, but runs into Korfmo again. The Queen Gloink, who is very Boss Nass coded, played by Elise Lovelock, who previously on Glitch played... oh no. Kinga fails to save Zooble, and Jax notices one of the Gloinks glitching. Pomni gets a good look at herself, and Korfmo gets lured away by monkeys. But she comes across the exit once again, finding herself in the Stanley Parable, and the door removing itself. Jax sums up my thoughts on the Gloinks, but Korfmo bursts through the ground, wrecking the Queen's shit. But thanks to Zooble's severed head, they escape via escalator. The endlessness of Pomni's situation is shot and edited well, but the accompaniment doesn't do many favours. Pomni starts losing her shit, fair enough, and ends up in the void, having a Space Odyssey moment, alerting Cain, who sends Pomni back. Cain acts like a little shit, and with a flick of his fingers, sends Korfmo to a dimension with many other abstracts. Well, that has horrifying implications. Ragatha finds her way back, and Cain solves the glitching. And Cain revealed that the exit was unfinished. He literally just didn't finish it and let it send out into the void. The episode ends as Pomni starts losing her fucking marbles, joined by a pretty memorable score. Perhaps that's why it's been in 1 billion TikTok videos. And I'm only just realizing to myself that I was being a bit facetious there, but it really probably could be in 1 billion TikTok videos considering how much shit is on there. The score tells us that this is literally just her life now, and we zoom out getting a good look at the realm, the void, and where the computer world might be stored. Something I'm sure will be touched on in the future episodes. We also get a fun little credit sequence to finish off. So that was the first episode of The Amazing Digital Circus. Is it deserving of all that internet attention? Well, it certainly wasn't bad, and for what essentially is an indie project, even with the backing of Glitch, was a pretty impressive product. I have a few problems with it. The score wasn't always the best. Some characters do more harm than good, like Ragatha being taken out at the halfway point, and Jax not really doing much even if he does get some really good laughs. The weird angle, or the abstract angle, like the character designs and the world designs, are certainly creative, although Zooble feels slapdash in design, but that might just be insanity for the sake of it. Cain, Pomni, Jax, Kinga, and the others all look great, and a lot is done with Pomni's look specifically. Even MatPat has something to say there.
A god born amongst men and set to live as a human, red plus blue. And in Pomni, we actually have something similar.
Which works well with her being the audience surrogate. The lore was interestingly touched upon in the exit scene, and the implications of the ending are a little creepy. Good creepy, mind you, but it did feel a little familiar to me. I suppose when you spend years watching MatPat fall into insanity over Chuck E. Cheese animatronics and countless lore videos on Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, you start to get a little overexposed to shows that handle their overarching narrative like this, and use a childish coat of paint to layer their creepy and horror-dipped undertones. But I am excited to see where this goes. So overall, I think I'd have to give the pilot of The Amazing Digital Circus a 6.5 out of 10. Clearly has a lot of love and energy put into it to reach its quality level, but there were a few things that didn't appeal to me, even if there were aspects I loved. But even so, I can't wait to see where this series will go in the future. Thank you everybody so much for watching my review of the pilot of The Amazing Digital Circus. I'm currently filming this in my car on a 30-degree day, and I'm sweating so much I think I'll have to wring my shirt out. Please like the video if you liked it, comment down below if you wish, or if you want to suggest anything that I look at in the future. Consider subscribing to the channel, and if you do, ring that notification bell so you're told every single time that I make an upload. Once again, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!
Toast. A little piece of toast. Because there's so much to choose from. There's brown bread, white bread, all sorts of wholemeal bread. It comes in funny packages with writing on the side.